This is Dirshu Mishnah Berurah, and today we're going to be learning Simin Mem Aleph and beginning Simin Mem Beis. Baruch Hashem. We are almost back up to date. Thank you everyone for your patience. And again, today's share has been generously sponsored as a Schos for Rav Yisha Bas Tavayra. We're hoping and davening that the Schos HaTorah of everyone learning together is moving the heavens and allowing Rav Yisha Bas Tavayra to find your Shidduch HaGoyin V'Karif. And Simin Mem Aleph is coined by the Mechaber Din Anoisi Masai Ich Yanik B'Tefilin. Someone is carrying a load. What should he do with his tefillin? Says the Mechaber Sivalev Anoisi Masai Rashai. Someone who's carrying a package on his head. Of course, back was Mat Chazal. They didn't have cars and wagons. They had to carry large packages. They put on their head. So what do? Chaylei Tefillin Shal Rosh. Taking of your Tefillin Shal Rosh Atiyasa Masai till you finish with the package. Va'afilu Mitbachta. Even if it's wrapped up. Osir Laniach Al Rosh Ish B'Tefillin. We do not carry them all wearing a tefillin shel rosh. Something that you put next to your hat or next to your head wrap, mutter would be allowed. Says the Ramah. If it's heavy, arba kavin v'tefillin netzchakos and tefillin are being pressed, sarech lehasiron. So says the Mechaber over here, Sivkotin Alav Anoisi Ma'asai Zamari Kol Ayoim Lo B'Shatz Kriyash Ma'atfilo. This is not during davening, this is time, so who wore tefillin all day. I like once him study Zayin Sefei. Al Rosh Sivkotin Beis says Mishmur on his head, V'mu Noisi Ma'asai Al Yadoi. Let's say you're carrying a package with your hands, V'makam Tefillin. Your hand tefillin should be covered, and it's not a problem. Means are lechalts, and you have to take them off. Unless it's very heavy. Because if it's so heavy, then it's going to be pushing on the tefillin. So what do you do if you're carrying this package in your head? If you're able to move the package to the side, tefillin not next to the tefillin. Says Mishnah Berurah, Masar, boss, Kavanir, she's if it's very heavy, even next to your tefillin, you should be stringent. Ayin Beis Yosef. Well, I see Zevala Rosh to carry manure. I feel him at even a little bit, even on the side of the tefillin. Aser, of course, because it's an embarrassment to be zayin to the tefillin. So Chalgadni Avi B'Zayin the tefillin shall Rosh to be zayin, even though it's right next to your tefillin. Like Shem Sali goes tefillin shall Rosh, unless you take off your tefillin shall Rosh, may love Shari after Nois shall Yad. Even though you're wearing your tefillin shall Yad, you're allowed to carry the fertilizer, the manure, with your head. If you want to carry the fertilizer with your hand, even though your tefillin shall Yad are covered with a garment, till bezayin to have the fertilizer in such proximity to your tefillin. Says the Mishnah Berurah Sivkat and Dalet, explaining that if you're putting it next to your head wrap, it's mutter Sivkat and Dalet after manuch al tefillin, even though it's on top of the tefillin, aimers that bezayin the tefillin, it's not an embarrassment. Why? Gives you dar malbush, because it's a normal way of wearing it. If it's a large hat, the weight of the hat shall remove the tefillin. Of course, this is where it comes from, that all single people that wear hats wear them even with their tefillin, even though the hat might push on the tefillin, might rest on the tefillin. Since it's a normal manner of wearing it and it's not heavy, it is no problem. But if the weight is arba'as kavanim chafei litra, is 25 liters, shoklim ba'kesed Prague, that nidchakay sivkotam vav, it presses on the tefillin, ain't beirush tefillin zazim kama. It doesn't mean the tefillin move around migamri. Veimunachal kedin, and they're not worn properly. Tebzeb shita shas ravi lematzei kal. Because if it actually moves the tefillin, of course it's also, even if it's a lightweight. It's in the right place, but it's being pressed due to the weight of the package. Still, you should take it off due to the pressure being put on it. The Bach is more lenient about this. And we're just going to begin. Simin Mem Beis you let us swap tefillin shel yad with shel rosh. So says the Mechaber, you're not allowed to change your tefillin shel rosh and make it into your tefillin shel yad. I might have read that backwards. You're not allowed to change your tefillin shel rosh and make it tefillin shel yad. I feel like even the Ritzuyis, we've seen this already, mayhem. Even if the Ritzuyis is not allowed, B'litim shel yad is aser. Why? Your tefillin shel rosh have a higher level of sanctity, and you cannot go from that to tefillin shel yad shel rosh. Why? Sharubai shel shakai b'shel roish. The majority of the Shem Hashem Shindal Yod is in the roish. Shel yad shel roish. That is mutal hashanis. Why? Because you're elevating in kedusha. V'mayich chadashim, if they're new tefillin shadayin le'enichon, it's brand new tefillin shel roish that you do not wear them yet. Then mutal hashanis tefillin shel roish shel yad. Then you're allowed to switch them. You put on one piece of hide and it looks like one bias. Says Mishnah Berurah Sivkotan Aleph Yad Tefillin Shel Yad Afilu Ein Lo Shel Yad. Even if you do not have In lo shal yad v'shal yesh lo shnayim shal roish. You don't have any tefillin shal yad. You have 2 tefillin shal roish. That doesn't do anything for you. So you think, great, take 1 tefillin shal roish and make it in tefillin shal yad. Explains the machaber that is not allowed because you're lowering the level of sanctity at tefillin shal roish is a higher level of kedusha. Ritzuya, even the straps. Upasha duadin nartik am yuchla shal roish. Certainly the box. Tikamu b'chal tashmish kedusha k'may ritzuya. That is part of the kedusha. Kedusha kedusha megillah. Chay muchaber agrav chayis megravram the upside seven chav ches. Perhaps it's a more normal case. Although generally the bottom, the boxes of shal yad and shal roish are not interchangeable. But if one were to try, it is not allowed. Mehem. Kasav magen avram. The nifzgar ritzuya shal yad. Someone lekasher. Let's say tefillin shal yad ripped close to the knot. Osir lahavich roish ha'acher l'maylo. You're not allowed to flip over tefillin shal roish, but makim shu chazak v'lasu by kashel yad to make the knot of the shal yad. V'achaticha sheba kasher yikshar ata lazu lamata, tie that part below. Why? To meridoi mikdushasai. Because within the tefillin shal yad, the ritzua itself, half of it is on the knot and half of it is not. The part that was the knot, that itself is a higher level of kedusha. Even since the part has the kesher and the yod, now you're just using it to wrap up your finger. That is not allowed. You have to bury the part that was used as the knot and the yod of your hand. Let's see, your is not long enough. As we've seen, making the 7 wrappings around the hand are not medina necessary. Rips the part that surrounds your head. Also, you're not allowed to take the part that was the knot and make it outside the knot, for the same reason, because the part with the knot has a higher level of kedusha. However, if outside the knot it ripped, and therefore you want to drag it down and lower it, lamata below, so that the ritzua is complete, so that you have the complete ritzua, as we've seen, the mount around the head and going down to the belly button, etc. Some say it's allowed, even though it goes down a little bit. Why? To make the place of the kesher lower down. That's not lowering in sanctity. Because still the kesher is on that same part of the ritzua. Even this you should not do. Because the mice is going a little bit down in kedusha. Same halacha is going to apply if the tefillin shal yad rips close to the knot. And this is actually a pretty common thing. Sometimes the ritzua gets worn out near the knot. Therefore, you have a lot of excess. So what you want to do is you want to make the top, the bottom, the top. That you cannot do. You're lowering the part that was the knot from the kedusha. Was close to the knot. Should not flip it around. Unless it's very necessary. It's weak. Then you can flip it around. We'll just point out what is commonly done is if, let's say, it's one tefillin shal yad has a lot of excess of the ritzuyas in the bottoms, and you could cut off the part that was the knot, the part that's getting worn out, put that part in geniza, and then raise up the lower part, because then there's no reading mikdush, there's no going down in sanctity. Rather, in that scenario, you'd only be elevating. Once we're actually so far, let's finish up. Sif Aleph says the Mishnah Berurah Sif Katan Daled B'Shal Roish. The Sham Hu Hashin V'Daled on the Shal Roish is the Shin, and the Daled Mashikim B'Shal Yad In Boy Ra Kesher Shal Yud only has one of the letters of the Shakai of the Yud. Motor Sif Katan Hey Ainu Sheyatzal Arba Tabatim. You take the tefillin. You make 4 batim out of it. Because again, that is elevating in kedusha. That is allowed. And you had what are you going to do? You're going to make it into kabay. Even the parshas are written on 4 pieces of parshas, and the place of the 4 batim inside. As we've seen already, that's not a problem. As long as on the outside it all has one shem bayis, of course, it's not something that one should do. That would work. And we'll pick it up from Sif Beis the next year.